Welcome back to Cocktails and Classics. It's been about a month since we recorded an episode. We're slacking this year, but we're back. Life has a way. What is it? Life finds a way. I don't know. You think I would know? It was like the first episode we ever did, Jurassic Park.
It finds a way.
Oh, okay. But we're back this week, riding that hype train into Glass Onion. We're doing the first Knives Out film. Knives Out.
Yes.
A 2019 crime thriller whodunit by Rian Johnson. To kick things off and get everybody in the right mood. Well, I guess I'm Dylan. We're very rusty. First time Cam didn't record. I didn't introduce us. I'm Dylan. Joining me are Cam and Ben.
Hi.
And Zach's not here to do his hi.
Never here.
Rip.
Brony.
To kick things off and get everybody in the right mood, we're going to talk about this week's cocktail, the Knives Out. We're very very creative in our naming. Usually it's a Knives Out themed cocktail Google search, and then hopefully something pops up with that name or something related.
Whoa.
For this
You're
one,
letting everyone in on some pretty deep insider secrets.
True. Maybe I shouldn't show them how the sausage is made. Then they might not tune in for our sick cocktails. When we had more free time, we did come up with some, but now
Yeah.
we got fucking children and we're busy fucking dudes. All right. That's why you get a month in between podcast episodes.
Sometimes those are the best. Sometimes they're the worst.
Sometimes you just end up doing Hubie Hollow-Threen, and then you need a month away.
Yeah,
yeah,
that
Cam,
makes sense, yeah.
Cam, you weren't here. Next year, Ben and I are coming up with doctoral thesis on why Hubie Halloween is a cinematic masterpiece. Well, I'm coming up with the pro, and Ben is coming up with the con.
I feel like a con is a 1 sentence.
Guess who's going to have the easier time?
You.
Yes.
It's going to be Adam Sandler, period.
This movie is bad. The end.
To make the Knives Out, you need 1.5 ounces of gin, 1 ounce of sweet vermouth, 1/2 ounce of bitter liqueur such as Campari, Aperol, and then orange bitters. They recommend stirring it all and straining into a low ball over 1 cube of ice. And if you're feeling a little fancy, you could do some grapefruit zest or rind into a, they say a little tiny dagger, which is a little extra. You maybe just express it over the thing and then lay it on top if you're feeling lazy like I do.
Yeah, it takes us a month to find time to record a podcast. You think I have time to cut a grapefruit skin into a little knife or dagger? Come on now.
Yeah. Plus, it's like, all right, I'm not going to take away from garnishes, right? They're nice when you got them, especially mint leaves. If you put mint leaves on something, it's like, all right, yeah, I'm smelling the mint, it enhances the taste a little bit. Most of the time, I'm just buying a piece of fruit, cutting that little sliver off, and then if I'm not using that fruit for anything else,
it's a waste.
It's just going to go bad by the time next time I use a fruit.
Yeah, So I had a mint plant that lasted quite a while. It died when I was gone for weeks on end for work this year.
Classic. Wife forgot to water it. Happens to me all the time.
But some of the things I'm not buying a bag of limes to use the skin of a lime one time and then throw it away. It's a waste.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless I know whatever cocktail I'm using is also put some lime juice in it, then I'm not going to put a lime garnish or something. I'm going to have to use that ingredient in the thing to also be before I squish the shit out of this, let me take a little peel off, Garnishes, great for bars, not great for the man at home.
Yeah, yeah. Or you've got to have people coming over that you're making drinks for. I'm going to use enough of this to get something out of it. But yeah, for one person, fruit garnishes, I'm just going to say it. They're bullshit. They're bullshit.
I don't think they're bullshit. I mean, I think, all right, so like it is very inconvenient, but a lot of some drinks do drastically suffer if you don't have the fruit garnish in there. Like an old fashioned, way worse without an orange in it. I don't know why. You just get the aroma and the oils in the old fashioned. It just is way better.
I'm gonna tell you my secret, Cam. I throw a couple dashes of orange bitters in there, and
I do too, but it's just not the same.
You don't think
I
it's
don't
the
know.
same?
No, I don't think so. I don't know why. I think it's the aroma. I think that's really what it is. Because like
Okay.
when you freshly peel the orange,
Maybe you should just keep a bag of cuties around.
Yeah, I don't know.
Easy peeled.
Yeah, it's just I don't like I at home because I would make them at home without the orange, and I'm like, man, I don't know why. I can't make them as good as I want them. I just feel like they aren't very good, and it's the orange. It's the orange. It's
I wonder how, like, and this may sound like the dumbest thing I've ever said. Although that would be that would be pretty difficult because I've done some dumb shit in my life. I wonder if you bought like a bag of limes and like peeled it, if you could like freeze the rind and then like take it out and express it and put it in like a drink.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I feel like the juices would like the oils from it would probably go away or become way less effective in the freezer.
Yeah.
That would be my take. Is it would probably that's my very uneducated 10-second guess. The oil would probably
I did that with
effective.
when my mint plant was growing and it was producing more mint leaves than what I could use. I just took some and froze it, and then like when I took them out and muddled them, perfectly fine. Like you're not gonna get the same like snap of a mint, like you can't like snap it or anything. But like for muddling, it was great. It worked really well, and I'm wondering how that would work with that.
I don't know, because it's like I feel like the mint's easier because it doesn't necessarily need to thaw out to get like the juices, but the other thing would. I don't know, because people say when you freeze fruit, I believe it's like at its most like ripe when they freeze fruit for like when you buy it from the store.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if it loses like oils, if it loses like antioxidants or like any of that stuff. I don't know what the freezing process does to stuff. I don't know. What am I, a scientist? I don't know.
That's what I said. I'm just glad. I thought I was going to sound way...
Well, you got a laboratory shirt on.
I thought you guys were going to hear what I said and be like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, no, that'll never work.
Yeah, duh, Ben. Of course it's bad. No,
I would imagine it wouldn't work very well, but I don't think it's that. I definitely don't think it's a dumb idea.
The gang tries to freeze fruit rind?
You would probably have to peel it first, or would you no? Because
no. I think I would like peel it and then like just freeze and just because like normally you use like a sliver,
just
right? It's like you could just take a sliver at a time, and you'd have a bunch of them ready to go.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to like buy fresh all the time to use like one rind and then throw it away. You'd get so much out of like a bag.
Yeah.
I searched, can you freeze your garnishes? And it's like talking about garnishing wages and stuff. I'm like, that's not what I'm looking for.
Damn you, Google. You gave me exactly what I wanted, or exactly what I asked for, but not what I want.
You're gonna say Google is aware of Dylan's probable searches for baby stuff, and now it's like, what about garnishing wages? Theoretically, how does this work?
Check the show notes below. Use the Drizzly and Casker links. Grab yourself some gin, some bitters, some aperitif, some vermouth, and make yourself a Knives Out at home. And check out Knives Out nowhere. This is what I was going to bring up before we started recording. I feel like they're really missing an opportunity here, especially Netflix.
I'm surprised it's not on Netflix. It was until recently,
hey,
I think.
Come check out Knives Out. We're about to put the sequel out. Christmas.
It was until recently. It was on there.
I wonder if the studio's being like, hey, we should take it off streaming. People will pay for it so they can know what they're doing when they go to watch the second one.
Yeah, well, Netflix doesn't own the rights to the one, but they do to two. So maybe the studio is like playing hard to get.
That might be it.
The glass.
I feel like it originally. I feel like it originally was on Hulu. I feel like that's where I watched it.
I think I saw it on
Or
Amazon.
maybe it was Amazon that it was on.
Maybe it's been everywhere.
Maybe it.
It's been out since
everywhere,
2019.
man.
You might be right. It might be one of those movies that's just been on like every streaming service.
Knives Out is a 2019. Let's see what IMDb gives us. A comedy crime drama, directed by Rian Johnson, written by Rian Johnson, stars Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, Anna de Armas, Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Shannon, Don Johnson, Toni Collette, Lakeith Stanfield, Christopher Plummer, Catherine Langford, Jaden Martell, Noah Sagan, Emmett Walsh. Basically, fucking everybody under the sun. This is a great ensemble cast. Currently sits at a 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb. It was nominated for 1 Oscar. Best Original Screenplay. I think we'd all seen this movie, right?
That's correct.
I think this is a first.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I mean, Hubie Halloween.
Okay.
But...
Yeah.
Yes. This is a non-ironic first.
Yeah, I remember watching this movie when it like very first came out, like maybe a month or two after, like as soon as it came to streaming. Being excited, I like Rian Johnson. I know a lot of people give him shit because of The Last Jedi, but everything else of his I really enjoy. Like
I give
Brick.
him no shit about The Last Jedi. All right. I'm just gonna say it. I think it's a fine movie, so I'm cool with it.
Brick, I really like the one with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It's like kind of like a neo-noir film in high school.
I think that movie was. I can't remember if I had just watched it or if you texted me about it. I remember you texting me being like, "Have you seen this movie?" And I feel like I had just watched it like not 2 weeks before. You being like, "I feel like you would really like this." I'm like, "I just watched it. I did really like it." I didn't realize like until looking back that was Rian Johnson's first movie.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that I did some pre-search, some pre-pod research, and Rian Johnson had the idea for Knives Out like right after Brick.
Interesting.
This was like the next thing he wanted to do, but he was already committed to doing Looper. And then after Looper, he was committed to doing Star Wars. And then after Star Wars, he did this.
It feels in a similar vein. Like it feels like the next evolution from like a noir you would go into like a classic detective film.
Yeah.
I remember watching Knives Out and kind of being like, wow, this is not necessarily surprisingly good, but it's pretty damn good. Because I didn't really know what to expect. I guess I kind of like thought of like what is this? Hercule Poirot?
Hercule Poirot?
Yeah, the Agatha Christie detective.
Yeah. No, I was going to bring up, I thought you leading into Hercule Poirot is interesting because I feel like Rian Johnson kind of creating an American counterpart to Hercule Poirot for this movie, and then also now kind of doing like a whole Knives Out mystery series is really interesting, especially as Kenneth Branagh is doing like all of the he's done 2 of them, but he is doing a third. They haven't announced which book yet, but apparently they're doing a third Agatha Christie Hercule Poirot movie.
You talking about Gilderoy Lockhart?
I guess.
Does he also play Gilderoy Lockhart?
I think so.
In Harry Potter?
That's the same guy, right?
I don't fucking know, dude. That's a you thing.
I believe.
Yeah, that's
I
the
believe
guy.
it is the same guy. If
Kenneth Branagh was in a superhero movie, I'd tell you exactly who the fuck he was. That Harry Potter's not my bag, bro.
Yeah, it is. It's fucking Homeboy. Oh, I didn't know he was directing it. Interesting.
I was going to bring up that I thought it was really interesting the way that he kind of provided I guess for lack of a better word, like an American counterpart to Poirot to kind of do his own movies based off of. And I also love that Daniel Craig plays him like some sort of mix between Foghorn Leghorn and the Southern sheriff from the old James Bond movies.
I was gonna say it's like
He does sound like Foghorn Leghorn.
I was gonna say what's the fucking Colonel from KFC?
Colonel Sanders?
Yeah.
Colonel Sanders?
Like the first time I watched this movie, I got so pissed because I was like, how stupid is this detective? Like when she's like wiping the videotapes and like throwing the shit
Oh,
away
yeah.
and all this, and I'm like, what are you doing? How do you not see her? Because like I don't know, I didn't know, I guess I didn't understand like how the movie is supposed to play out. Because I'm like, oh well, she obviously committed the murder, so like he's got to like find her guilty, and it's like, what are you doing? Like she's so clearly doing all this shit. Why are you like dragging her along? And then like the last 10 minutes, he literally knows like how everything played out, and she's like, when did you suspect me? And he's like, literally the first time I saw you. You're like, damn, okay, all right. He is this like great detective that he's supposed to be in the end, but
So that's interesting to me because so he says that, but that's obviously like a very, very small drop of blood on her shoe, right? Like that's a small drop of blood. I did notice there was one time, like maybe a third of the way through the movie where it was when he was like looking at the carpet on the upstairs for dirt that he was like right by her shoe. So I'm wondering if maybe he flubbed it a little bit, like flubbed the truth and was like, hey, that's blood, but we're already this far, so let's see how it goes. Because he's like literally like right next to her.
I mean,
Like right next to her.
very
feet.
much most of the movie does have that vibe to it where he's just kind of like, all right, we're winging it. It's like, oh,
But there's a rhyme and reason for everything.
I can't tell if it's quite a meme on the like detective like whodunit, but like the way he just kind of like talks in riddles and like has this whole like everything he says almost has to be like a monologue. Like
I think that's very much a play on like the Sherlock Holmes, Agatha Christie. Like I feel like that's very much, and there's more. Like there's a lot. There were a lot of different like detective books around where they did that, where it was like the locked room mystery, but then when I give the explanation, it's going to be this super long drawn out thing. Like everything I do has to be like this monologue-y type of. Have you guys seen oh my goodness, what the heck is the name of the movie? There's a movie that just came out.
I just read
Clue.
this book not too long ago. It's like oh the great like this guy's like some of the great Japanese like murder mystery like writer or whatever, and so I'm reading it thinking it's a true crime because it plays out that way. Like it literally is like, oh, like this is true, these events happened, like all this stuff. Like it's crazy the stories you hear when you're like a writer. Like it's written as the perspective of the writer, like who heard this story and is explaining the story back to you. I read the whole book. I'm like, holy shit, this is a crazy locked room mystery. Like how the guy did it. Holy shit, this is nuts. Because it also plays off of like all the like locked room murder mysteries, and it's like, oh, you hope as a writer to like write these books because that's like the thing. And then I read the book and I go on Wikipedia later, and it's fake, and it's like it's like the Hercule Poirot of like Japanese literature. It's the Honjin murders. It's the detective Kosuke Kindayachi is like the detective who's like this famous Japanese like fictional detective, and I was just like, shit. Now this took like I blazed through the book. I was like, this is so good. How is it going to end? And then I'm like, shit. Now I feel like a fool because I thought it was true the whole time.
You tell me Sherlock Holmes isn't real?
Well, I've never
So,
read.
I was
I've
gonna
never
say-
read any of those, so I thought this was like true crime, and then I was like,
So
Oh, man.
there was a movie that came out this year. I don't know if it went straight to streaming or what. It's called See How They Run. It's Sam Rockwell,
I
Saoirse
haven't
Ronan.
seen it.
Oh yeah, I
Adrian
saw
Brody.
it. Yeah, it's on HBO Max if you
Yes.
want to see it.
Really good. Kind of gave me
It was
Knives
pretty
Out
good.
vibes, locked room mystery, comedy-esque type of thing. But it
Yeah,
was,
it was definitely more noir and lighter and not. I mean, it was a mystery, but yeah, I don't know. Like it was good.
It
was
kind of
Yeah.
it was an
it looks like
entertaining movie.
Knives Out, but leaning more into the comedy aspect, at least
it
from the
is
trailers.
more. Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. That's a good way to describe it. Yeah, Knives Out more leaning into comedy. But it's interesting, like, so there's a. This play is going to become a movie, but the way that the play is very, like, locked room. The play itself is a locked room mystery, and it's just interesting that, like, the lead character in that is very much, like, every time there's not the actual Sam Rockwell's inspector character, but the actor who plays the inspector is like a giant monologue, like to get into how the crimes in that were committed. So I do feel like the way that uh, Rian Johnson wrote this movie was very much based on like the meme of detectives needing to give a million.
Yeah, it's like the big one that like at the end when he's like, I spoke in the car about the hole at the center of the donut. And yes, what you and Harlan did that fateful night seems at first glance to fill that hole perfectly. A donut hole and the donut's hole, but we must look a little closer. And when we do, we see that donut hole has a hole in its center. And it's not a donut hole at all, but a smaller donut with its own hole. And our donut is not at all whole. And you're like, what the fuck?
So I feel like in a lot of like either crime or mystery, I feel like there's a lot of cop out near the end where they like wrap it up and you're like, how could I have ever seen that as a possibility? Like they did no work or foreshadowing of this at all.
Mhm.
But I feel like this one does a really good job at like dropping hints very early on about stuff that happens later on. Like a couple things is like in the beginning, when they were talking about the two, when she goes up and like gives him the vial, whatever, and he's like, "Oh, if somebody intentionally switched these vials, I'd be dead. I gotta write this down as a murder mystery thing for my books," which is obviously what actually had happened. She mentions that she leaves her medical bag at the house. They mention that Ransom misses the funeral. They mentioned the cousin at the ME's office for the housekeeper. Even in the even in that same part about when they're playing Go, he takes the knife and is like, yeah, some people can't tell the difference between a real knife and a prop knife. Sticks the real knife in there. And of course, at the end of the movie, Ransom tries to stab her with what is actually a prop knife because he cannot tell the difference.
Yeah.
So I think this movie does a really especially like that was one of the reasons I wanted to watch it again is because I hadn't watched it since like maybe the first time or maybe like one other time after that, like immediately following. But knowing where it goes, you can kind of pick up on these clues very early on of like, oh, that's actually like he wrote that in very early to kind of foreshadow what's coming later. But I feel like by the time you watch it the first time, you do not remember that at all. Like that some of these things even happened.
I think that's the best part about a good detective movie is that as soon as you finish, you're like, damn, I kind of want to watch this again, and I want to find the loose strings and like where I could tie it all together. Like Chinatown for me is like that way where like you're like, oh man, where could I have seen all of this like coming from to tie it all together?
Or even the one I even left out was how Ransom was like, yeah, he brought up in our argument how you beat him at Go more than I do. And when the detective at the end mentions that, he's like, that's a good point. Why would that even come up? And so like, I don't know. I just feel like this movie does a really good job of not only just like foreshadowing, but basically putting the pieces in place very early so that you get to the end and you're like, oh yeah, all that stuff did happen early on. This totally all makes sense rather than just being like, Okay, it was just a bunch of stuff off screen that like we couldn't have known until now.
Yeah, I always think that's definitely the telltale sign. If a movie's rewatchable, that you can find the Easter eggs to enjoy it. Because let's be honest, once you watch a mystery and it's like, oh, this is it, and here's who did it and how it happened, and then you get into it where it's like, oh yeah, and that's it. And you rewatch it and it's like, well, none of this shit is shown. So like, how am I supposed to know who did this?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think when you can rewatch it and try to find bits and pieces, that is the sign of a great mystery movie.
Yeah.
So I found one thing that was kind of an interesting. So I looked up like some of like the behind the scenes stuff. So apparently, if you pay attention to everyone's phones, it's apparently a tactic you can use to decipher any modern day mystery. In an interview with Rian Johnson with Vanity Fair, he said that he says Apple allows the use of iPhones in movies as long as the villain is never seen using one.
I'm not surprised by that, but that is weird.
Which is just an interesting thing that like, oh hey, that's kind of crazy.
So if anybody's ever using an iPhone, they're not a bad guy.
Not a bad guy. Must be a good guy. So we talked about Brick, which was Rian Johnson's first movie, which starred Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who has been in every single one of Rian Johnson's movies, including this one. He apparently is a voice cameo. He's Detective Hard Rock, that comes in Marta's TV. So people are wondering if he's going to play, and I would assume it would be known by now because Glass Onion was out in theaters.
Glass
already.
Onion, it was in theater.
It was in theaters, but I think now it's out, and it comes out on Netflix on December 23rd.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
like it's out of theaters
that's
now.
Right. Yeah,
yes.
that is correct. Yeah, it was only in theater for like the Thanksgiving week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they wanted to get the Oscar hype in the chat.
I'm kind of pissed because now people have seen it, and I really don't want to be spoiled to the movie before.
Yeah,
December.
I know. It's very frustrating.
And like, I just really need TikTok to not figure out that I want to watch it. Otherwise, they will spoil it.
Wow,
because they did that with Stranger Things. They figured out I like Stranger Things, and they kept showing me content, and I'm like, no, skip this. I don't want to see this. What are you doing?
What is this?
I haven't seen it.
What is this movie? I'm looking at the top.
Glass Onion.
I'm looking at the top cast. The bottom four is Steven Sondheim as himself, Natasha Lyonne as herself, Serena Williams as herself, and then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And it's like, what? What?
I'm in.
That's funny.
Sold.
But
weird.
You know,
I don't
then
know.
the top,
I'm here for it though.
The top build cast is like all bangers: Ed Norton, Janelle Monáe, Catherine Hahn, Leslie Odom Jr., Kate Hudson, Dave Bautista.
Is this going to be a musical?
Ethan Hawke, Hugh Grant. It might actually be.
Yep. It's going to happen.
Fuck!
Dave Bautista's going to sing a song and then powerbomb someone.
Aren't they doing I know the Joker, they talked about Joker 2 being a musical, but wasn't something else?
Joker 2 is going to be a musical. I do not
Maybe
know.
that was
I
like the
hope not,
initial
but...
like meme was that it was going to be a musical or something at this.
Could be.
I feel like now that you joked about it being a musical, I swear there was something in like the first couple weeks when they were talking about it that they wanted to do something like that.
I don't know anything about it on purpose, so hopefully not, but
they already have the rights for a third film, it looks like too. So
well, hopefully Glass Onion's good because keep giving it to me. Shoot it straight into my veins.
I'm thrilled that like whodunit murdery mystery movies are coming back because I love them. I fucking love them.
I'm more of a noir guy.
I love crime and mystery. I love crime and mystery movies for sure.
I love a noir as well, but something about a
like noir mystery
is also just Feed me, Seymour. Feed me.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna be a little sad.
exactly.
I was thinking earlier. I was like, I wish Lakeith Stanfield was in the movie a little bit more. Like, had a bigger part. Like, I don't know. Like, I love him as an actor. So like anything he's ever in, I'm like, oh yeah, come on, bring it on. But
I
More of
remember
this, please.
I remember this movie coming out, and I feel like he was advertised as being a bigger part than what he was.
yeah, like
But
him
maybe
and
that's just because it was
Noah-
the hype of him coming
Yeah.
off of the run of what he was in Get Out, and then it was what Sorry to Bother You.
Yeah, and then I no. What's the one he was just in? Judas and the Black Messiah. I don't think that had come out yet, right?
Yeah.
I think that was after.
That had not come out yet. That was like 2021.
Yeah,
Wow. I don't
But,
know.
like,
The last
those-
3
I
years
think
have
that was
like
the
been
end
a
of
blur.
21.
So
those two
Yeah.
movies came out, and then it was like, oh, Lakeith Stanfield's also going to be in this movie, and it was like, oh, well, he's going to play like a huge part because he's been on a tear, and then it was like, actually, he's only going to be in it for like 20 minutes, maybe.
I mean, he is like the 7th or 8th billed person on IMDb. So I was like, okay, all right.
He's one of the people in Get Out.
He is one of the people in Get Out.
Yep, he is,
One
in
of the
fact,
people that have been.
Yeah, he's like
Bruh.
or whatever,
One-
right?
Yeah.
one of
Yeah.
These spoilers if you haven't seen Get Out yet.
It's it's like 5 years old at this point. I think you gotta just bleep that whole part out in post.
Can't
Yeah,
bleep
he's
it out.
Bleep.
I've already heard it.
Yeah, that one time when
Wait,
they
have you not seen it,
beep.
Oh,
What?
Wait.
It's been 5 years. You got to get over it. Why have we not done that movie then?
No one's asked.
no, we've definitely talked about this.
Not
We may have talked about
not
it.
while I was around.
What? Oh my god. All right. Well, maybe
Well,
next week.
Do a little mind. Yeah, maybe sometime soon.
I mean,
'cause that's a wow.
In context, that tells you literally nothing.
It doesn't tell you anything, yeah. Other stuff in the movie, another one part which I thought was like so funny and sad was like so many people were like, you should have been at the funeral. I got outvoted. It's like, okay, that's not it's literally not possible. Yeah, everybody got outvoted? No, fuck you. It's clearly not right. I mean, that's obviously like a theme, right? Where it's like, oh, we'll treat you as family, blah, blah, blah. We love you. And then all of a sudden, when she's going to get the inheritance, it's like, you lying snake, you bitch.
Were you
what did
boinking
you do?"
our grandpa?
Were you boinking my dad? So, and then like the dude like threatening to tell people that her, it's just so funny how some of that stuff backfired. He's like, yeah, with our family's resources, we can like hire you a good lawyer and have you stay. And she's like, well, those are my resources now. And so like I can hire a good lawyer instead. And I don't need you.
It's like
And he's like, well, wait, hold on.
it's like that one, or when Meg calls and is like, "What are you gonna do?" And then she's like, "Oh well, I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep it." And she hangs up immediately. And you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh well, all right, know where you were at."
Like, oh, fuck you. Yeah. God damn it. You were like the one cool one in the entire bunch, and then you just immediately fucked it. God damn you. All right, so I don't know if Ben inadvertently ruined it by looking stuff up, but I put together some trivia
All right.
questions. I have 4 questions. We'll go down to 3. So if there's something, so we'll see. I'll just read them off, and if there's something we'll just get out of here. All right, so first one I think should be, well, maybe not easy, but this one I think you both have a shot at knowing. So, 4 of the cast members of this movie have been nominated for an Oscar. Michael Shannon, Christopher Plummer, Toni Collette, and Lakeith Stanfield. Which of the 4 have actually won an Oscar? It's only one. So there's one person of A, Michael Shannon, B, Christopher Plummer, C, Toni Collette, or D, Lakeith Stanfield that have won an Oscar.
I believe it's Toni Collette.
Ben, what do you
I was
think?
going to say Christopher Plummer, but Dylan's probably right.
Well, joke is on Dylan because it is Christopher Plummer.
Oh shit, let's
For
fucking
what?
go.
Not Toni Collette. I should have looked that up, but let's look it up now.
I just love the way he said it. I should have looked that up.
Let's see. 1-1 Oscar. What is it? Best performance by an actor in a supporting role for beginners. 2010.
I don't know
Yes.
what beginners is.
I was gonna say, I don't
A
even-
young man is rocked by 2 announcements from his elderly father that he has terminal cancer and that he has a young male lover. And he is probably the father?
He is the father.
And it's Ewan McGregor, Christopher Plummer, and Melanie Laurent. So, 1 point for Ben.
Woo!
All right. Next question. There's a podcast, I guess, called Hi Everybody at Bad Medicine Podcast, which I guess tries to get at the medical accuracy. There we go, of movies. And the baseline is The Human Centipede, because it has marketed itself as 100% medically accurate. So, with the baseline, of The Human Centipede, what percentage does he claim that this movie is medically accurate? So again, the baseline for 100% accurate is The Human Centipede. All right, we're clear on
Is
this.
there multiple choices, or are we just throwing out percentages?
It's multiple
Okay.
choice. It's multiple choice. Okay, so A, 100%, B, 80%, C, 200%, or D, 140%.
God damn it! How did I know that if Human Centipede was 100, that other movies would be more than 100? God damn it! God damn it!
It could be less, though. It could be more. It could be less,
Oh
you know?
my God.
Does the meme lie in the fact that it is less accurate than Human Centipede, or does the meme lie in that it's more accurate?
I knew as soon
Or
as you
just
said
as accurate.
180, I was like,
Just
the
as
next
accurate
two have
is
to
an
be
option
higher.
at 100%.
I fucking know they're gonna be higher. And then it hit 200. Son of a bitch. I'm gonna say 140.
I'm gonna say it is just as medically accurate, 100%.
All right, so it is. So he thinks it is a little bit more medically
Oh my
accurate
God.
at 140%, but not by a ton, which is shocking. I mean, only 40% more medically accurate than the Human Centipede. I don't know. That's that seems strange. All right, we're gonna give Dylan a chance to come back here. So I'm gonna roll through these. We're gonna try 2, unless one of them is spoiled, and then Ben's, I guess, the winner. All right. So in the beginning of the movie, we talked about this. Blanc is hitting a piano key every time he wants the detective to ask about what time they got to the party. What key did he hit? Is it
I know
A,
absolutely
B,
nothing about piano
B,
keys.
D, C, E, or D, F?
Okay, can you give me the keys just as the keys themselves without the A, B, C, D? Because that made it really fucking confusing.
I can't. So the answer is
F.
A, B, B, D,
Stop with the
God
A.
damn it. You son of a
C,
bitch.
E, or D, F.
It's C, D,
No, it's
E, F.
B, D, E, F.
B, D, E, F.
I should have put a letter.
B.
I should have put a letter that's not actually a note. see if I can get Dylan to
You should have.
guess like
'cause
a
I
K.
would have not known.
God damn it, you should have. Oh.
I know absolutely nothing about piano keys.
You don't know anything about any music
that
note?
sense. So I'm gonna go with F.
Okay.
I wanted to say C, but that wasn't an option, so I guess I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna big brain it. Benoit Blanc B.
So do you mean B is in the note or B is in the choice?
B is in the note, you son of a bitch.
That wasn't an option.
Yeah, it was. A was B.
Oh, it's B.
A was
D,
B
F.
and B was D.
You got confusing when you did all the
Yes,
A's and
that's
B's.
why I told him not to do it.
Roll the tape. I think I said it perfectly every time. All right. Well, the answer here, interestingly, was F. So Dylan got it right.
Oh shit.
All right. So, So Frank Oz and Jamie Lee Curtis are both in this movie. Frank Oz famously voices Yoda. They have actually been in a movie together before this. What was the last movie they were in together? Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, Trading Places, Halloween 2, or A Fish Called Wanda.
So Jamie Lee Curtis and Frank
I
Oz.
know those are all
What's
Jamie
the
Lee
other
Curtis movies.
So yes, it's Trading Places. Sorry, I switched the order.
Yeah,
Star
don't
Wars
fuck with
Episode 8. Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, Trading Places, Halloween 2, or A Fish Called Wanda.
Who was she in The Last Jedi?
I'm not telling you.
It's for me to know and you to find out.
So maybe that's not it.
It's none of your goddamn business.
I'm going to say Trading Places.
I'm going to say A Fish Called Wanda.
Wow, what a comeback by Dylan. Trading Places is the correct answer.
Damn.
Blind
So yeah,
guess.
she is not in The Last Jedi. She obviously is in Halloween 2 and A Fish Called Wanda. Did not know that was a movie until 10 minutes ago. But the answer is Trading Places.
Until I laughed at the title.
Yeah.
Wait, you guys had never heard of the movie A Fish Called Wanda?
I haven't.
I know
I
of
haven't.
it.
All right, so this movie came out in 2019. It grossed a certain number in the box office without going over. Well, no, that's fine. We'll just go closest. Closest to. Can you tell me the box office gross adjusted to 2022 numbers?
Wow, I wonder how much higher it is now because
Shockingly a lot.
And I was gonna say inflation's pretty rough right now.
Shockingly a lot.
I'm gonna say
This is box office numbers off of Box Office Mojo.
I'm gonna say 425 million.
I was going to go closer to $1 billion.
It might be because of the inflation, so rough, but
$1 billion. That kind of money doesn't even exist yet. All right, so what if I told you that the box office gross was $312,900,000?
yeah.
2022 adjusted number is all right. It's one of these things where you ask somebody a question and you're like, guess how much this cost? And they're like $10,000, and you're like, well, okay, no, it wasn't that much, but it makes the real number seem a lot less, like a lot not as bad in comparison. The real number is $364 million, so Dylan wins it here. But wow, yeah, I mean, I still like that's like a $50 million increase over like 3 years. That's crazy.
No, that's pretty rough.
I was like, I feel like I would have heard if this movie made over $500 million. So
I don't pay
why.
attention to how much money movies make, so I was just like, fuck, I don't know, man. If it made 500 million and maybe it bumps
it's gotta
up.
be a superhero movie to make that much money.
Like
I feel
Endgame made $1 billion. Although, hey, $312 million for this movie is still pretty impressive, honestly.
I mean,
what's let's see, Box Office Mojo. Like, I don't know, what's like one of the best like indie movies lately? Let's look up Everything Everywhere All
That
at
one I
Once.
feel like
don't even
didn't get that much. Maybe I can.
Yeah. 70 million domestic. So
Yeah, this
like,
one was 165 million domestic.
Well, we'd all seen this film, so we'll give you a nostalgia rating, and then we'll give you an updated rating. Now, after seeing it almost 2-3 years later. Cameron, lead us off. What do you got?
All right. Love this movie. I think it's one of the best. It's probably one of the best modern mystery movies you could watch. I'd wager it's one of the best mystery movies you can watch, period. Honestly. I can't think of a better modern mystery movie off the top of my head. It's just very good. And that's the kind of thing I like. So, I went into this thinking like an 8 for this movie. I'm going to give it a 9 coming out of it again. Holds up the second time. I knew it was going to happen the whole time, but I still was like enjoying it. like, it was suspenseful still, even like watching it. You get to knowing what happened. You got to see like how the pieces kind of fell into place at the end. And again, like kind of knowing what's going to happen, you can kind of look for stuff earlier, which is there, which is great. So yeah, I'm gonna bump it up to a 9. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, that's really odd. That's almost verbatim. I had it as an 8 going in. I remembered really enjoying it. Coming out, I finished the movie and then was like, God damn it. I can't believe I have to wait still for the next one. I just wanted to turn it on. Keep going. I had it at an 8, left with a 9. Like I said, I'm looking forward to it. I'm a sucker for a good mystery movie. And like I said, it seems like there's been kind of a mini boom of them going on as of late. Between you've got like we talked about Kenneth Branagh's like Agatha Christie series, this series, See How They Run was really good. Like I think maybe mysteries are gonna kind of catch on and be a bigger part of the movie experience moving forward, and I'm fucking here for it. Let's go.
Going in, I had this movie on Letterboxd. I had it at a 4.5 out of 5, so 9 out of 10. I'm probably gonna leave it there. I actually really enjoy this one. It's I think it's a perfect balance of you get your mystery, you get some comedy, you get some thrills when that kicks in, and all the while you're still looking for like, damn, who did it? Who's now blackmailing Anna de Armas's character? Like, it's like after you've got it figured out and like what happens, and you're like, oh, this thing's almost over. Oh, twist. Oh, all right. Well, we're almost over. Oh, he tries to kill her. Oh, but he didn't. Oh, damn. I like it's like constantly gonna keep you like turning and on your toes. And I don't know. I really like this one. I think if you haven't checked it out, definitely do. I'm excited to see the new one. I hope it's just as good. Even if it's not just as good, if it's like 75%, that'd be worth my time. Check that out and check us out next time. Hit up the Drizzling Casker links. Make sure you get yourself some alcohol delivered directly to your door. Share us with your friends and family. Give us a rating. And as always, watch responsibly.